Good afternoon everyone and welcome to part 11 of Infernum. Today's episode I'm going to take out Plantera and the Leviathan. So first I head off to the jungle to make an arena to fight Plantera because, I mean, if you need a good arena normally, then you're going to need an extra good arena for the Infernum version. So that's what I'm doing, just getting to work, clearing out some stuff, building a big arena. And now I give the Plantera the first attempt. And yeah, I die a lot here, as you can tell. Things are not going swimmingly. Okay, after that short little death montage, it's time for the final attempt of Plantera. So first it does this thing where it shoots the seeds in the circle, but it also has things that spawn next to you that shoot seeds at you, making it kind of hard to circle, so circle, but just keep that in mind. And you see the weapon here I'm using is the Animosity, which, I mean, it's good consistent damage, and the chlorophyte bullets means it's homing, which is nice. And it enters the phase 2 and it starts doing these spore gas cloud things. Just look where you're going. It also has these like tentacles that come out, so find the gap and then just stay in that. It's quite simple but can get quite difficult. However, and now it's doing the thing where it's dashing at you, so you can, and shooting petals, so you can kind of just go in a circle. And also for the spore bit, for the spore phase and the tentacle phase, it really helps to have a Flying Dutchman mount because it has infinite flight and it's really precise movement. And then it enters the final phase eventually. I don't know what percent of health, where it does the tentacle thing but twice, and that's one of the attacks. And then it splits the fawn walls, split the arena into a even smaller area, so gotta be careful. And it shoots the spiraling petals, which you're meant to just circle and be able to avoid them, but it's really not that simple. Yeah, that's everything, I think. So I somehow managed to avoid most of it in this corner. I don't know how I avoided it that well in this corner, but eventually I managed to take out the boss. It took quite a lot of attempts and was kind of really annoying actually. And from the bag I get a temple key and living shards mainly. And I get the meow thrower, the flamethrower, and the essence of sunlight to make the wildfire bloom, which is a new flamethrower basically. So now I make an area near my snow pylon to get some mushroom grass so I can make a mushroom biome, so I can get shroomite. When I head into the dungeon, and then do some ectoplasm farming, because there's a lot of things that require ectoplasm at this stage of the game in Calamity. So just sit here for a while farming until I eventually die, and then I use some of the living shards to make sprouting arrows and the Dryad's Tears. Yeah, you can see these are like ammo that split, which is nice. And I get all of the cores, and then make the Asgard's Valor and the Deadshot Brooch. And next up is making some of the houses, so I can actually get the truffle to move in, so I can buy that auto hammer, as well as getting some rockets from the cyborg, and then get some chlorophyte, make some shroomite, end up running out of chlorophyte, so I make more chlorophyte and then more shroomite, then make the full set of shroomite armor. I do eventually make all the headpieces. But okay, now is the Frost Moon event, and for this I'm looking for the snowman cannon, and also a chain gun would be nice. So yeah, I'll skip through most of the events and just show me taking out the mini bosses and then dying to this random elf helicopter thing. But eventually I get onto the Ice Queen, and through some divine miracle I managed to get the snowman cannon on the first attempt. And yeah, basically the snowman cannon is a rocket launcher that shoots these homing missile things that do homing and then explode, which is nice. And getting some shroomite and souls of flight, I make the hoverboard, which not only are decent wings, but they also increase your damage, like specific weapon damage. But then I make the Leviathan detector, which is an Infernum mode summon, and then start making the arena for the Leviathan boss. Nice big arena, so I actually have space, and then I give the boss the first attempt, and yeah, it doesn't go too well. Before I get to any more attempts, I decide to fight Plantera several more times in order to get the Blossom Flux, which, from what I know, is just the best damage weapon. But yeah, because it's Plantera, it does not go so well. I die more times than I probably should at this stage. After several attempts, I managed to get the Blossom Flux, which is a bow where the right click shoots the spore orbs that explode, and the left click rapidly shoots these leaves. So with this new weapon in hand, I give the Leviathan another go, and it does not go very well, several times. You know, this is a recurring theme in Infernum, just dying a lot. I'm probably going to have like thousands of deaths by the end of this playthrough, if I even get that far, that is. But anyway, here is the final attempt. So first the boss does this. You can just fly up and down, mostly, and also with these treble clefs you can run away. And then you kind of just, there's not that much to this first phase. You kind of just see projectiles and then run away from them, and you can kind of just dodge the whole thing. Not really an elaborate way to dodge, just run away from everything. like really quickly. At 50%, that is when phase 2 begins, so I quickly switch to the Shroomite headgear and then activate Adrenaline and use the Blossom Flux for really good damage against the Leviathan. Shoots these meteors, so and like they can split, so just when you're dodging the dashes, make sure to be mindful of where the meteors are. And does the spread of meteors, you can just run away from that and spread the attack out so it's easier. And when the Leviathan reaches 50%, both Leviathan and Anahita are out, so I decide to go after the Leviathan first. And I find this phase is actually kind of easier than the just solo Leviathan phase. I suppose it's because you don't have to deal with the meteors and the dashes at the same time. But yeah, you can just fly up and then fall down to avoid the dashes mainly. I'm going to switch back to the Shroomite helmet and the Snowman cannon and then take out Leviathan, and then finally is Anahita's solo phase, which is like the phase 1 but it has this, the dashes are trailed by the water tridents. So do what you just did in the phase 1 and then you should be fine. And then finally I managed to take out the boss. But that's it for today's episode, because I was planning to do Astromorius and the Abyss stuff in this episode as well, but I kind of lost the footage, so I can show the Astromorius stuff like in the next episode. But anyways, see you lot in the next one.